Hello, legends and super legends. We're rolling out. It's time to go pick up these boys.
Looking good, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. So do you.
Wearing the Rafa Flight print jersey, which matches those shoes to a T.
I was just checking the time, so we don't have to rush or anything this morning. We're just gonna spin in. Should take us about 40 minutes to pick up Team RR. It's about 16 Celsius, I believe. It's 63 or something like that. It's nice. It's a cool 63. So.
Got a light base layer on with that jersey.
We're wasting water. Those things not growing yet.
You know, people watering the grass before it's
dormant. My yard looks
out
like
of its
that one.
dormancy. My yard is still dormant. It's like the one on the left there. No point watering the grass when they're brown. You're just gonna expose them to getting disease. Wait till they start growing. You can hear the birds. I love hearing that in the morning. Fabulous morning for a bike ride, as usual.
This is so much nicer. Yesterday was very warm, so I'll take this. This is a lot nicer and cooler. On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We rolled into the Woodlands. We took the long way around. We picked up Team RR, headed down Research Forest, Fish Creek. There was a bit of a delay. Gerry had a flat, but once we got on Fish Creek, the pace was hot. We rode all the way to 105. All of that's on film. We cut through Highland Hollow, went over like a 15% climb, and then we stopped filming when we got close to the lake. We let the group go, and we went north through the forest, all the way up to Fawn Boulevard there. We turned and took Bethel Road down to 1097. It was very breezy on the way back. We stopped at Taco Corner briefly and then went behind the high school, took Spring Branch Road through the neighborhood. We filmed when we got in the neighborhood and then finished the ride out by taking Honey Egypt back to the Woodlands. We ended up doing close to almost 8 hours on the bike. It was a very pleasant day. We got a nice cool front that came in. Earlier in the week it had been a little muggy, so it was very, very pleasant.
They're leaving, man. Hurry. All right.
Yeah, I stopped for a nature break. That's what Paul's telling me in the group leaving. We just got to Crust Pizza. So I told him that I was going to catch up with him. So he said, all right, I'm going to take the street instead of coming in the parking lot. I'm going to go ahead and just meet them on that street on the right. You will see me in a little bit. We had a few new riders that we hadn't seen before on this ride. This guy's one of them. I never got his name. On the red carbon bike there. And so the pace gets hot real quickly. We had another gentleman who remembered us from the bike barn ride. And he mentioned that to Paul. I didn't get his name either. So I'm back there. I let Paul know I see him.
Gerry, what's up, man? All right. Huh? Yes, I see. We just got here, so.
Okay.
Are you gonna ride with us, or are you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Jerry Lugner.
Trying to get back into it. I got COVID about a month ago.
You did? Oh.
Pretty good.
I know my son had it too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How long ago?
So we find out Jerry had COVID
That was
early
in November.
February. That's probably why he was tired.
He's
of that
doing
ride.
great. He's doing great. But he came home for Thanksgiving.
I don't know what he's talking about, so I
And
show up.
He had
And
it.
I'm interested in Mary's bike.
He's 22.
Okay. So is he in school? Or
He's in school. I think he brought it from school. Yeah. But man, I didn't know, man. So you back at it?
Well, not really. I'm trying.
You get Mary's bike.
What's that?
Mary's got a brand new bike.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'm talking to
Okay.
you. You want to get it?
Okay, I'll get it and give it back to you.
All right, thanks.
So I didn't know what they were talking about, so I wanted to grab Mary's bike because we don't see Mary after the early part of the ride usually. So I want to use this opportunity to get her bike. It's a beautiful Isabella.
Hey,
Mary?
I almost knew
Mary's
that.
got a new machine.
Maybe. This is the look-alike.
She says it's a loaner because the shop has been too long in getting her a bike that she ordered. So they gave her a bike on loan that she can use. It's a borrowed bike. I find out in a little bit
morning, how are you?
that it's a borrowed bike.
I've been watching your video.
You have? Cool, cool. Hey,
That's
Mary,
Arturo.
what's the deal with the bottle bosses? No bottle cages.
Well, this is a borrowed bike.
Oh, okay.
My bike is still not in, if you can believe it.
Well, that's a pretty nice borrowed bike.
Yeah,
Looks good.
thank you.
All right.
So hopefully this month.
Okay.
Yeah, she's been
So the
inspecting that
shop
bike
let
for
you
a
have
while.
it? That's cool. Is that Ken? All right. Cool. Hey guys.
Arturo and Lulu, one of the local shops, supposed to be getting her a bike. It's been over a year, and so I guess they give her a
She
loan.
said it's a borrowed bike. I told her that's a pretty nice borrowed bike.
Oh, is it?
Because Ken, they don't have her frame yet, so they're letting her just use that one.
Okay.
Who's she getting the bike from? Or,
Ken? Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Sabello. Nice color. Purple and blue, kind of metallic looking. She said that her bike's not in yet, so they let her use that one.
oh, that's good.
So they don't have bottle cages on there or anything. She got one bottle back there.
Yeah, Gerry and I were talking about he just recovered from COVID.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
that's why you were tired. Yeah, it affects your lungs, man.
Yeah, so I got it like the first week of February,
Okay.
and I have asthma.
Yeah, yeah.
So normally when I get sick, it takes 2 weeks to recover.
Uh-huh.
And and I was really bad for 2 weeks, and then by the third week I thought I felt okay, and then I tried doing a bike ride. 5 hours after the bike ride, I was breathing harder than I was during the bike ride.
Wow. Do you know where you got it, man?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
I'm sure they asked you
I
that.
mean, the only place I go, I wouldn't go to restaurants, I wouldn't go anywhere. The only place I went was the HEB.
HEB. Yeah.
HEB is the only place I went.
Yeah, because my friend got it from HEB.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
So
Yes.
my wife wouldn't go, so I did the shopping.
Yeah.
But I always wore a mask when I went there.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm okay. But that's really the only place I could think of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
HEB is one of our local
we don't use
grocery
the stores.
stores.
You know how these guys stop?
Yeah.
We use the restrooms in the woods to pee.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
use, because the restroom's really small.
Yeah, that's true.
That's another place to tell you to avoid. So we've been
Yeah.
trying to just be cautious as much as we can.
Yeah, that is the other place, right? The gas station.
Yeah.
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 So we get
Very
stuff and we go outside and fill our bottles. We don't stay in there. We've been trying to just
You know, as far as all the other stuff, you know, like going out to eat or going
Yeah. No, we do takeout, man, delivery. Yeah, we don't go anywhere. If we do, we sit outside.
Yeah, he's still not 100%. He's still recovering, but he's feeling better.
We saw you last weekend, man.
Yeah, I know, I saw you.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
It's a big group today, my brother.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid Mo's group, and then I ran into like David Fry and some of those other guys.
Oh,
Okay.
So I was riding with those guys.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we saw you last
So
week.
he's just
on the
been
back.
sitting on
Yeah,
the
that's
back.
why
I was just drafting.
He just drafts and stays on the
That's cool.
back of the group. But he's
I'm glad you're
recovered
feeling
from
better.
it. So
Yeah, starting to. Yeah, just
it still affects you
You
in
have to
different ways.
gradually
Everybody's different.
ease back to your program, you know. Don't just go full movie or normal.
Greg shot messing around saying that he needs to go through the Ram challenge now that he's better from COVID.
insurance policies. So maybe between her and you got something going.
Go ahead and start roaming the bunch here.
I do believe that.
That's Lulo on my right and Atura on his right.
Why'd you do it? I did it for the shirt. So when is it? Next week? Love doing it with you.
So it took a couple of rides for me to get that new shoe to feel right. But you know, it was easy to set up. It's so stiff, it feels like you're wearing slippers, nothing on your feet. Stiff and light. Good power transfer. This is Egypt Lane in Woodlands, Texas. We're turning right here, going towards 1488 Farm to Market Road. That's Hernan on the right here. He rides like he's racing.
I had to say something.
You guys get to see him today.
Into that
That's good. No, that's good, my brother. I wanted to get it before we knew she gonna be.
Yeah.
Some guys on the team.
Hernan is sensitive to the sun, so he's got long sleeve kit and he has a lot of sunblock on
like
today.
this. I asked him if he's going to ride with us. Then he started telling me about the COVID.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Paul's updating me about how he and Gerry
I knew that would be a
got
good
on the
size
topic
dude.
of COVID. So now it makes sense why he was tired a month ago. Because that does affect your lungs, and he also has asthma.
On Sunday, yeah.
So he has a pre-existing
The one that yelled
condition.
at me when I was going by.
Good to see that he's gotten over
watching
it.
your videos. When you gave me the
Being
camera.
healthy and fit, I'm sure made a big difference. But he still
gave her a
says
bike
he's
to
not
borrow.
100%.
He done put a bottle cage on it. I'm like, duh. You should have made them do that.
We're talking about Mary's bike. He gave her the shop gave her a loaner, didn't put a bottle cage on there,
This lane.
and she's got a bottle in the back of a jersey. Well, on a warm ride,
If
it's
he's
going
letting
to
you
be
borrow a
hard.
bike, he
when
can
you're warm.
unscrew it and put a cage on it.
So you know how difficult is it to just
not
put a bottle in?
meticulous on things.
Yeah, it's just.
What's the rush? If your bike's not here, you'll continue the one you ride.
I'm not sure why they bother giving her a loaner. She has a bike that's functioning well. So just the headache of setting up a bike for temporary use alone. I think it's just to keep her happy
Worked out fine. I wanted
until
to
her bike comes in. It's been a while. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what's taking them so long to get her
I
bike.
filmed the bike.
Yeah, that's a nice color there.
Yeah,
The color is really nice. That's why I went and
sun
filmed
hits
it.
it.
Yeah.
The action going on.
It's nice. Metallic looking, purple and blue. It's got some olive green in there, depending on how the sun hits it.
Yeah, this road was not made for the traffic it's handling right now. Yeah, look how narrow it is. This is a little neighborhood road. Everybody coming through here that don't necessarily live in here.
Right.
That's why I like that other one we used on the way back.
Yeah. That was
That's
the
Mark
perfect
on the
timing,
left
man.
over
You
there.
turned
That's
into the
Hernan
team
on the right.
to meet the group.
Well, what happened was, once I saw them, when you told me they're leaving,
Yeah.
I saw them through the trees, and I told you I've seen them. So I went back.
We're talking about how I caught up to them this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the thing, when we stop to pee, I don't need to pee much, but I just need to pee.
Yeah.
Look at those guys. Quick, man, look at that kind of speed.
We're looking at the squirrels. You can't really see them on the screen on the right, dancing around. Look up to the right there. They're just quick.
They gotta change direction
Oh,
in
man.
They change directions, they dart around, just quickness, kind of quickness. And I like to watch the squirrels.
Dark. They'll hang upside down on the tree.
So the warm-up is wrapping up as we head towards the open road,
They're very smart animals.
2978.
I'm on the deck, see them holding stuff in their
We're
hand.
gonna go through the intersection up here. Mark lets us know they're stopping. We're going through as a train. I check and let everybody know it's clear.
Our goal is just ride along, and then we get into our ride. That's pretty much. That's it.
So we turn left here in about half a kilometer. Gerry has a flat, and I go ahead and speed it up because we basically stopped for quite a bit of while because he had problems with the valve. He's got a zip 808.
This combination with the
wheel.
bike? Yeah.
And I'm getting Paul's kit.
That's the SCIC Boticchia Retro Kit. The likes of Giuseppe Cerrone and Giambattista Baroncelli were on that team. I think Louis O'Connor also rode for them.
So back in the day of Mercs and the golden years of cycling.
Who had a flat?
Somebody says flat at this point, and we find out it's Gerry.
I heard flat.
I got a flat.
All right, Gerry, come on.
I don't know if they'll wait for me, but I got a flat.
Yeah, we'll wait for you.
He said he didn't know if they'll wait for him. I told him we'll
Yeah,
wait
the
for
rear
him.
tires.
I changed my saddle.
Why?
Oh, because the other one was killing me. This is the original.
You might want to video Gerry changing a tire. That can be educational.
Is he quick?
It's kind of a master class in what not to do.
That's a great shot. Doug's brother. He's having to film Gerry. So
Go all the way down.
Gerry's got the thing in the middle.
Now he said that we should film you changing a flat because it's a class in what not to do.
At least I know how to put my wheel back.
Go all the way down to the last car because it's a lot easier to remember which one you're in. Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's because you got that fancy time trial bike.
So he's got zip 808s, and so we find out that his tube has a non-removable valve core. Well, his extender, which you need for the zip 808s, has a core in there. So you need a tube that has a removable core because you don't need the core in there. And so we had all kinds of issues. We used other valve cores, caps that were not as robust. And so we finally get around to, I go ahead and give Paul my bike and I help him. And we get a tube from Mark that had a removable valve core so he could use his extender. So if you have these deep dish wheels, make sure you get tubes that have removable valve cores. Not all of them come with it because that really delayed the flat repair. We're there for quite some time. So after about 15 minutes
go, my
fiddling
brother.
with Gerry's wheel, we're right near Fish Creek. We're heading out now. And I gave Paul the camera. Half of the group continued on, the riders who didn't want to stick around good, knowing that we're going to heat it up to catch back up. So the ride just gets hot and heavy. I told Paul we stopped for so long, my power meter went to sleep. I had to wake it back up. So the gentleman on the right in front of me here, I've never got his name. He used to ride with a bike barn.
This whole road is empty. This idiot must pass in this lane.
Yeah.
There's a car that passed.
Yep,
He's
mate.
up ahead. Wasn't close or anything, but my point was there's nobody using the left lane. Why are you passing in this lane? Even though he moved over, just use the other lane. There's no common sense.
I didn't know this is where we meet. I just looked at him and
So we're talking about somebody trying to make a joke. One of the guys that started a splinter group, he was being smart when he rode by. He left later and he rode by and he made a comment about, I didn't know we met here. You know, we're there helping Gerry with his flight. Gerry is very appreciative. I mean, he kept thanking us for helping him, and I thought, no, that's cool. That's Michael on the right. He used to ride with us, but they started doing their own thing for another location. So we just ride past here. The pace heats up to where we don't see him after this. These guys rode so hard today that it was just crazy. When Paul decided to let us go after we hooked back up, the first thing I told him was it was hard. And that's exactly what Gerry told us when we hooked up. He said, man, that was hard. They were going so hard that after a while, it's almost like we couldn't go any faster. Nobody wanted to go to the front. I mean, we're talking 3 to 5 second poles, just hard. So we had some new blood in the pack today. We got Hernan up there in front of this guy. He likes to push the pace. So he was one of the culprits, the instigators. And this guy in front of me was hanging on. There's another guy with a red bike. He was there too, taking pulls. But what ends up starting this, you will see in a little bit. There is a rider who is not riding with us that comes and blows by the group. And that's like, you know, basically the challenge was on. We don't know him. He doesn't know us. But when he blew by, I guess somebody got annoyed.
Yep.
I'm just staying to the left so I don't have to use my brakes. There's the guy I'm talking about with the chartreuse. He's not riding with us. He just came and blew by the group. And that was like, the challenge has been laid down. And the boys at the front took exception to that. And you will see the pace will quicken. And we ride this road like it's flat. The road has leveled up. We've come down the hill. It's leveled off, and somebody just go ahead and pull the trigger up there. We spent most of this stretch above 26, 27 miles an hour. It was on. I'm looking around them to see. I'll go ahead and use this lane because this now we have 2 lanes going in one direction with the other side being finished. So I just stay on the road here. At this point, it's not very hard yet. It looks like Liz and them back there, but they're not going to be with us very long. We go through. This light is yellow. It's late. We're in the intersection. We go through. Everybody makes it through. People check. I'm going to look behind to make sure everybody makes it through. And it's on here now. We start to ride. You can see my heart rate has gone up 12 beats just from back there. Gerry's drifting to the back so he can just sit behind. He likes to get on his bars. And that looks like, yeah, that's the guy in the red bar. I'm not sure why he's moved to the left waving people on. But there's Dan Jaworski up there in the blue and navy. Then we've got Hernan in the white long sleeve there. I didn't get this gentleman's name. Mark right now is pulling at the front. I'm sitting on this guy's wheel. Paul's behind me. I didn't do much looking behind after this point. I'm unzipping my jersey a little bit. I love that I can do that with one hand. I'm telling Paul that that's Dan Jaworski up there with the green. He's got the green shoes and the green bar tape.
Okay.
Remember when you rode with us in the green?
Yeah.
He rode with us when we went to do that ride for Paul H. Honor. So Mark pulls off the front. We rolled through here. We're doing 23 miles an hour and we're going uphill. This is a slight grade. Mark greets Paul. This is fast. Right now I'm at sweet spot already and I'm sitting in. So I resign myself to the fact that we're going to be riding hard. Settling in. I don't forget that my brother and I are planning on doing almost 7.5 hours because of the delay with that flat. We ended up spending 8 hours elapsed time, you know. So it ends up just extending your day when there are too many, you know. And I ended up having a flat on 105, but the repair was quick. A glass went right through my tire on the feeder. And I was standing up when it happened. So sometimes it just happens. What you can do. The road is a slight slope. It says 1% is more like 2.5. And we're just pouring it on. This entire stretch, the road is going up. That's Mike S5. He had ridden up the road while we're doing the flat repair, and we come by, and I don't know if he ever got a chance to get on because we're flying here, and he wasn't pedaling like he expected the group to come by that fast. My shoe is still not perfectly dialed in. Just the left one felt a little funny. I keep messing with the tongue on there. I got it sorted after the ride on the next day. We go through this intersection here. I ride up to them because I hesitated a bit because the light had changed. And once we got there, it flipped the green. You can see I'm in the 170s. I'm now in zone 4, the bottom of zone 4. Dan pulls off the front and we go through. We're doing about 24 miles an hour. And everybody's chasing up to that guy. He's up ahead like a rabbit. And we're pulling him back like a fish on a hook. And he's doing his best to stay away. He's a pretty strong rider because he hung out there for a while even though we were pouring it on. And then after we catch him, he takes off again. You'll see that in a little bit. So it just stayed fast. .47 kilometers an hour, it's about 27, 28 miles an hour. Doing about 27 miles an hour right here, just holding it. We can sustain this. It's fast right here. If you know, we can definitely sustain this. I'm at the bottom of zone 4, but this is hard. At this point, our group has split up into pieces all over the highway. You can see that I'm working. We've already caught this guy. He's on the right there. 175 beats per minute. This is race pace. And this is what I'm talking about. You can see the power, 305, 330 watts. It's gonna vary, but what matters is your ability to tolerate this high respiratory zone, zone 4. The heart's pumping at 175 beats per minute to clear the lactate out of your muscles. If you have not adapted to handling lactate in this zone, it doesn't matter what power you're putting out, you won't be able to stay there. Red light here, we're going to stop. This is Ridge Lake Shores. We're going to stop at the top of this hill here, little rise. And that's the guy on the right in the chartreuse jersey that had passed us. Now, I'm making sure that I maintain the same position in the line because it's their idea to work this hard. I've got 6 more hours of riding. They don't. So this guy accelerates, I get on his wheel because I wanted to be in the same position. But at this point, the guy in the chartreuse has taken off down the road and Hernan cannot catch him. You see there? They're gapped. So we're going to ride up to Hernan. Paul's on my wheel. This is hard. We're doing about 26 or so. We're going to catch up to Hernan. You see the guy's already up the road. He's pouring it on. And this guy pulls to the left like he's going to go around Hernan, but then it's so hard he can't get by. You see Hernan wave him over. Hernan waved him over. Then he goes. But he's not going to stay up there very long. When you're going this hard, you don't want to sit up there longer than 10-15 seconds, if that. He's going to take a few strokes and then he's going to pull off the front. And this road's going up here. Right here, we're pouring on the power. We're doing about 26 to 27 miles an hour up a 2.5-3% climb. He pulls off the front. Hernan starts to sprint, and I put the power down because it's hard here. We're going hard. So I don't know why he did this. He let the gap open and he want to ask Paul if Paul's going to get in there. Well, you don't need to ask. There's a gap. You take it. He wasted a lot of energy, and so he rides back up to us. You will see the rest of the guys, Gerry and them, come around Paul. This is the guy who's the ride with the bike barn. That's Dan Jaworski. That's Gerry Lutner. They go around Paul. Paul's holding his pace because he knows we got 6 hours more to ride. And he said that he didn't want to spend that much time in the red zone. So he's holding his pace. He doesn't want to accelerate too much. You see me pull out to the left? What I did was we rode up and we could not get up to that guy's wheel. So I pulled up and got in the back of these guys. I'm like, they want to do this? Let them do it. I got 6 more hours to ride. So I sit in there. I'm not aware of what kind of gap is here. I just know that Paul is not there because I can tell. But I'm just sitting on them to see what they're doing. We end up catching the guy. He's up there on the right in front of us. You can see him just right there. He's not that far anymore because we're all going full gas here. Somebody else pulled off the front there. But at this point, we've caught him. We're all together. And right on the top of that hill, you can barely see us. I look back and I don't see anyone. And it's, you know, my thing is like, they're not riding with me for 6 hours. My brother is. So I'm going to go ahead and at the base of the overpass, I go ahead and turn off the power. And I decide to wait for Paul. We're out of camera view when I turn off the power. I think it's somewhere around almost here. Doing about 34 kilometers an hour. We're all doing that when we get to the base of the overpass. Because we really weren't going any faster. So I speeded up here. And this entire time, you can see I got 0 RPMs. I'm waiting. And then right there, these guys with the elapsed time, it's probably about 2 minutes before they got up to Paul. I sped it up. So once they got up to Paul, these guys have been dropped. They called Paul and said, come on. Mike S5 said, come on. And Paul sits on them for a bit. And as they begin to go up the climb, he just maintains his own pace. I'm up at the top of that climb. I'm waiting for them. You look at my RPM, I'm doing 18 kilometers an hour. I'm really waiting. I see them coming and I'm waiting. I figured they're all together. So I'm looking back, I see them. At the top of the climb, you will see me right on the left there. Right there. I'm waiting for that. I see them coming. Paul's right there at this point. Right before the top, he kind of lets them go. But I don't keep up with that. I'm just waiting. I'm watching these guys. I speeded up here. It took them a while to get to me. Once they get to me, I start to pull right here. I'm pulling them right there now. I pulled for quite a while, probably about 2 minutes, before I realized that Paul is not there. This is McCaleb Road. The name changes from Fishkill to McCaleb Road. You go over the overpass. So as soon as I realize that Paul is not there, I go ahead and pull off right there. I pull off to the right to pull off the front, and I turn off the power. I tell them to go ahead, and you can see my speed drop, cadence drop pretty much. I see Paul here because I can see his light. I speed it up here to where he gets to me. At this point, the guys in the front, some of them had turned left. The group is actually going right. So that's the thing, if you chase the wrong people. They weren't going where the group was going. They weren't going as far as we were going. So what Paul says is he got into the red quick and he didn't want to stay there. I told him it was hard. So I decided to stay close to about 40 kilometers an hour here. We're going slightly downhill to give him a chance to catch his breath. We're right at the top of zone 2. I told him, yeah, it was hard. He rode well. I mean, I didn't expect him to hang in that long. These guys were pouring it on. Haven't ridden that hard in a long time. Slight grade here. We're just kind of keeping the pressure the same. At this point in my mind, we're just gonna go ahead and do our ride. I'm pretty much done with the group at this point because I had no idea what they're doing. We got there kind of late when they were rolling out, so we didn't get their route. But I just told Paul that Gerry had turned left. Jerry's behind us because he had turned with those two guys, the guy in the chartreuse and Dan Jaworski in the green shoes. They're just probably going to Taco Corner and back. So they might be doing 30 miles in back. So that's another reason why you got to watch your effort. So Gerry left them and came back because he wanted to ride with this group, because this group was going further out to Lake Conroe. At this point, we did not know where they were going. So we're just riding up to 105, and my intent is to turn left at 105 and then see if we can pick them up at Taco Corner. But when we get to the corner up there, Paul spots them on the right. So they're actually going east on 105, which will take us to Longmire Road. And we know the area. The road goes up here. My intent is to turn left. That's why I'm staying in this lane. This lane goes left and straight. Then Paul spots them.
Are they going right? Okay, well, let's go right. Yeah. I wasn't sure what was going.
This is Highway 105. We're in Conroe, Texas. So we got to roll past them. They stopped on the corner here, Chatty. That's Mike S5 there. They had been behind Paul. And on this stretch, I caught a piece of glass. Right here, we're done with my repair. We're in this parking lot. I'm taking the tube. The latest tube is in my right hand. I'm taking it to the trash can. There's a trash can at the front of that building. So try not to leave your trash when you use these different areas to repair your flat. You know, throw them out. Throw them away in the proper containers. This guy's there's a little grade there. He's fighting, but he's in the wrong gear, I think. But they had ridden so hard on that road that when we got over here, it was a lot steadier. This is Highway 105. We're headed east towards Interstate 45. So I drop the trash and I go ahead and ride up to the front. I always like to be near the front. It's just a habit. So Gerry had asked me about the little pump that I use to pump up the tire. He said, you don't top it off with a CO2? I said, nope, the pump does the job. And he wanted to know where we keep the pump. And I showed him that it's in my pocket and disappeared. So he was very surprised.
All right, thanks.
He's on my right there. So I'm riding up to Hernan and Mark. They're up front. The terrain here is a little more favorable than Fish Creek. Fish Creek has a lot of rollers. This has milder grades. I'm getting a gel out. We're riding so hard back there, I didn't have time to take a gel. And it's more than 2 hours into our ride. So it's time to put something in the tank for the third hour. So we're staying around 200 watts or so. I mean, you know, it's not very, very high wattage like we were doing on Fish Creek, but with the wind in this direction, you're still working. But after the effort on Fish Creek, this felt milder, being right at the sweet spot right now. So you have to be able to do the work. You can't go hard. When somebody goes hard, you gotta let them go. But in order to go hard, you gotta get there and do the work. So Paul did a fantastic job filming as part of who we're riding. Our new setup really works well. So it's gonna vary when you feel comfortable using a high cadence versus a moderate cadence or a low cadence. I mean, you've got to get to know your capabilities. You gotta train accordingly. We're riding close to the line because of all the rocks that were dropped during our freeze. There's a lot of debris on the shoulder. So this is the cleanest spot without using the main lane. Basically using the main lane right here. So we were riding around 26, 27 miles an hour into this east wind. But what's significant is that we were probably a little below race pace here, you know. I mean, what I consider race pace. This is like the bottom of zone 4, which is, you know, race pace, really. You don't go full gas throughout the whole race. So this pace line right now, all the people here worked hard to be here. You know, Mark and Mike S5 did not quit. They kept riding on Fish Creek. They came around, gave Paul a wheel for a while. Then they rode up to these guys. These guys had pulled off on the right side of the road into a little parking lot there, briefly. The gap wasn't more than 20, maybe 25 seconds when we went ahead of the rest of the group. I'm just keeping my cadence respectable, sitting in there, riding right on the white line pretty much. Clean and spot. So at this point in the ride, we're approaching Highland Hollow. We're slowing for a light here, and then after that intersection, I think Mark's going to wave me through because Hernan pulls off the front. I drop the effort when I get to the front. I just kind of spin through. Right there, Mark waves me through. I go ahead and take the lead. Mark doesn't want to be in the lead. Hernan pulls to the right. Mark is behind Hernan. He pulls off too. And I go ahead and roll through. Just to keep the group moving. See all that debris? But they're on the other side of it. And I think Hernan's going to get behind this guy here. He's going to pick up the pace here. Just slip in. Paul's going to let him in. So I just go ahead and do like a medium effort. Because I know that we're going to be climbing a 15% climb in that neighborhood. I just keep the group rolling here, that's all. Hernan takes a drink, puts the bottle back, and gets back behind this gentleman that used to ride with a bike barn. Didn't get his name, but the next time we come across him, I'll make a point. Because these are the guys that were driving the pace, especially Hernan and the guy in the red there, and then Dan Jaworski that turned. I think he's going to Taco Corner. So Dan was riding like that because he ain't riding as far as these guys, but Hernan rides like this all the time. He was looking back. You see the stuff on his face? He must be sensitive to the sun, a sunblock. They're checking so we can get in the middle here because sometimes when you get to the intersection over there, it's very busy. So we get over early. And, you know, now we can get in trouble for this because you can get stopped because you're supposed to get in here late, right before your turn. We got in a little early. You see the arrows? Somebody could have been there turning. So if you do something like this, just be cautious because you're supposed to get in late. But on this road, it's so busy. And a lot of times when you get to the intersection, you don't get a chance. So a lot of times you have to go on the right and come across from the opposite street, the intersecting street. So if you do this, just make sure you watch for other road users that might be turning. You're not supposed to get in there as early as we did. And right here we stop at the light. I don't like to sit in the middle of highways that long. So if you need to make sure you stop before you do what you see us do here. Don't just roll the arrow. So we stop. This is Highland Hollow Drive. And after the cars go, we can turn. We treat it like a stop sign. That's what you would do if the light were defective. You would do the same thing. You need to stop first. And the law will not bother you if you do what you saw us do. You stop. So this begins the climb towards the 15% grade. And surprisingly, everybody kind of behaved as I think we had gone so hard on Fish Creek that by the time we got here, people just didn't have it in their minds to push too much. I'm just riding the climb. I'm right in tempo zone. It's a beautiful road. Look at that curve. There is a car that's going to come to the intersection that says I'm leading the group. I'm communicating with the driver right there. I let them know he's there. Then I'll point forward. He nods his head, and then we all go. You're at the front. You got to make sure you're protecting everybody following you. Don't just think about you. So we were prepared to stop if necessary, but we got there about the same time he did, and he just told us to go. So I get to the right, get off the front.
No, I don't.
So I get to the back just to ride alongside. Oh, actually, I'm up there. I thought I was at the back. It's Gerry back here. I'm on the right in front of Greg. When we turn, I kind of drift to the back. It's like a little wall here. If you look at the grade, it says 5% when we turn. It might go to 10 or 12. One time we came through, it registered 15, depending on which part of the incline. It says 9 up there. There's at least 13 to 15 that shows up on my head. It's short. We go up and then we turn left. The grade is dropped. It's short. Mark had said that he didn't know how to get out of this neighborhood, and so you would see me give him directions in a little bit.
Oh, so far.
At this point, we've been riding hard the whole hour or so. I'm letting them know, turn left. This parallels a road called Longmire Road. That's the road, that's the main way out of here once we go down to the boulevard in about 1 kilometer. Good spot in the ride to get a drink, you know, stretch yourself. You're rolling downhill, you're not really working. Get a bite to eat if you need something. I'm rolling to the front so I can let them know where to turn. There's a boulevard up ahead. We're going to turn right. That will get us out of this neighborhood.
Veloharmony? Yeah, I've ridden with y'all before.
Huh?
I've ridden with y'all before.
Yeah.
One's on a 5-bar ride in Portland.
Yeah. I remember.
You told everybody how much fun it was without Kurt.
Yeah. I remember now.
Yeah, I was the instigator that day.
Yeah, the guy's saying he's telling Paul
Kurt's no fun.
Yeah, I know.
that
So many rules.
the rules of the bike barn takes the fun out of the ride. That's why we stopped visiting them. Too many rules that didn't make sense. Don't sprint here, don't do this here, but then they sprint when they want to, so you don't really know why they're doing what they're doing. It just makes no sense.
You usually ride with it? I'm back. As much as I can.
This is Longmire Road.
Nope, never done that. Last time I saw you was on a Sunday ride.
We start to go here, and I'm not sure at this point. You see Greg in the blue right there. Somebody goes around here. I was gonna go, but then he's right there, so I figure, okay, he's gonna get on that wheel. So I'm gonna back off because he's on the wheel right now, but he continues to allow the gap to grow. See that? He was on the wheel for a second, then he's not on the wheel. So I'm not sure what he's doing. I end up working harder than I should have. I should have just gone on the wheel, but that, I just didn't want to impede his progress. So I moved left to ride up to those guys, and I find out these guys are really moving. So that's why that gap is growing. And you see Hernan gets on my wheel, and Paul's riding up to Hernan's wheel. I think Greg is finally going to move up and fill the gap here. So Paul sits on his wheel. That's the way you ride. There's no point wasting energy. So he decides to ride here. I don't know why he didn't do this earlier, because now I'm having to ride like 31 miles an hour to pull them to those guys. I had to work really hard. I'm not sure if the clips show exactly when we get there, but I remember working. We may already be there, but I wanted to close up before they went any faster. Then I have to work even harder. We're there now. The road's going up. So after that pull, then I got to deal with this climb. So it was just hard. I keep my cadence up because this road is going up, and it's going up for a while. So that's the instigator up there. He pulled off the front. And I think, I'm not sure who takes over. I don't really want to speculate. I don't remember who took over, because all I was doing was sitting on Mark's wheel. So it might have been the guy from Bike Barn. This is the guy with the red bike. He was the one forcing the pace up there. I didn't expect to have to work that hard to close the gap. So you see this time he got behind the wheel. I don't know why he's looking way back here. If there's a gap, you take it. No. So this is the guy I thought was pulling, but no, it's someone else. Might be Mike S5 or somebody. Someone else is up there, because Hernan is on my wheel. So he's not pulling right now. And we're moving here. About 22, 23, my computer's flipping around. These high tension wires or something interferes with it from time to time. So now we've exceeded 40K, but yeah, there we go. Closer to 40K is what we're doing. We're moving. Doing about 25 miles an hour. It's a 1% to 3% grade mostly here. Slight slopes, so you just gotta push through. 627 as the road levels off a little bit, slightly downhill. There's an intersection coming up. That's why Greg is sitting to the left so he doesn't have to brake as we go downhill. I pull out of the line, we're slowing down the corner. I look behind, I see Paul, he's right there. So that was Mike S5 that was pulling back there. With all the interruptions in Paul's training, he rode really well today. I was very, very pleasantly surprised. Because, you know, a couple of weeks after being ill, to ride like he did, that was cool. So his training's coming along really well. You know, neither of us have been able to stick with our program as we hoped. But our fitness has not suffered, I think. The fact that we're doing heavy mileage on Saturdays has made a big difference. There wasn't much let up on this ride. We turn over here, we go down, and we're gonna get to Highway 830. At Highway 830, then we decide to go ahead and let them go so we can sit around and chat a little bit, drop our pace. Telling Paul that Greg left a huge gap and I had to close it, and it wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Bike bar. Yeah, with the green shoes.
Yeah, he's telling me this guy with the green shoes and black shorts, white jersey, used to ride with the bike barn because they had chatted back there and I wasn't aware of it. Greg has a light taped to his drops. You see that? That's a light. That's a cool spot to put it. Interesting. So this road is still Little Egypt Road. Even after we turn left, it's the same name. And this will take us to Highway 830, which is where we decide to change our pace and extend our ride. So we turn here, these boys have not had enough. They're still hammering. This road goes up. That's 3%. It's closer to 4. That's 3.5. It's up and down. This whole stretch. But somebody asked when we turn left at the highway. What somebody mentioned. So we're pushing still. We're still pushing. So at this point, I think Paul and Gerry are start having a conversation. They go ahead and just back off the pace and catch up. I think I'm just sitting on their wheels. They want to keep pushing. I'm just going to sit in and be a passenger. Because we've got a long day. This is 2.5 hours into an 8-hour day for us, for Paul and us. We're still pushing here. You see the watts, 350 watts. downhill here, we shift up and keep the pressure on. Watch it drop a bit, but the effort is still on. Coasting here. Soft pedaling. That's why the RPMs didn't drop to 0, because I'm soft pedaling. Just sitting in. So it was a great workout early in the ride, and then Paul and I finished it off as we usually do once we got on our own. We got some clips for you all too. Because we came back, of course, into the wind as usual. Anytime the temperature goes up like this, the wind comes out of the south, it pounds us on the way back. It's always breezier later in the afternoon. Paul's really not drafting very closely here. Okay, so Mike rode around here. I think this is where he decides to let us go.
I just need a breather.
He does. Gerry needs a breather. So Gerry stays back with him. That's the noise you get from those zips I used to talk about. I guess the more deeper the profile, maybe the more noise you get. You hear that Gerry's not really pushing. So all those maniacs are up there hammering. We spread across the road until we get into the intersection.
So how long have you been taking heart medicine?
About 2 years now.
2 years? Wow.
Yeah. It's
To lower your blood pressure? Or?
No, it's to cure a birth defect from, yeah, to prevent you to be on a heart monitor or whatever. Yeah, it's a beginning stage.
Oh, pacemaker?
Pacemaker, yeah.
Or defibrillator?
Yeah, right.
You gotta go. We're gonna miss the laser.
Let's see if we're gonna make it.
So at this point, I back off the power and decide that we're just going to deviate and do our own thing here. We're all back together. In a little bit, I'll tell Gerry, hey man, go ahead, come around. We're just gonna. Paul gives me the camera here.
I'm just gonna sit on the back. These
No,
boys
I
kill
said, I'm just gonna sit on the back because these guys are crazy. That's what I told him, Gerry. Paul rode brilliantly today.
We're just gonna hang back.
That's what I'm telling Gerry. We're just gonna hang back. We're gonna do our own thing. I want him to come around.
Not wasting any more energy. We got a long day. We're about halfway. We're backing off our pace.
So at this point in the ride, we're just gonna let them go and do our own thing. Gerry rides up to them. I told him to tell them not to wait. They pretty much know that we always branch out, do our own thing. They're not riding very efficiently right now, so it's like we want to do something different.
We got a long day in the saddle, my brother. Huh? Yeah. We're wrapping up this ride. We had to let those boys go because they were just riding crazy. So we needed to back it off and get our Ks in for the distance we were going. They were going shorter. So we're in the neighborhood here. Grand Lake Estates. Film some clips for you all. Fighting the wind once again.
The wind is brutal through here.
Yeah.
We've been fighting it for several hours. I mean, it's 6.5 hours into the ride, so it's like 2 hours plus coming back into the wind. In a little bit, I go on a small chain ring to kind of just rev things up a bit. We're going into the wind up this little grade. It's about 4%. It's a good shot there. We're staying in zone 2 for the most part. You know, we rode hard the first 3 hours. I think I shifted to the big chain ring there. The road's leveling out.
Get that SCIC boutique, yeah.
The SCIC kit. I've got a copy of those as well. It's a nice kit. I edited through here, so we're not showing full pulls the whole way. Whether you're working up a climb or working against the wind, focus on staying smooth and teach your body how to pedal efficiently. Don't labor. Slightly downhill. It says -2. Usually we go a lot faster down here, but with the wind blowing like it is, we're keeping the effort in zone 1 right now. We're really just riding at a conversational pace. Zone 1 and zone 2. Drive a very small gear into the wind, keeping my rhythm in the 80s as much as possible. A good work rate. Look at those flags. That's what I'm telling you. It'll take a few rides before those shoes settle in, but it felt pretty good. I set them up on the trainer, and this is the first ride in them. tribute to the quality of them that I was able to ride these many hours the first outing. With no discomfort. So you have to, when you get new shoes, you really have to put a few Ks in them first before you get them out there. Unless you're very comfortable setting up your cleats. You don't want to go to a very hard ride in brand new shoes that you have not broken in per se. Or tested the setup. And you can do that on your trainer like I did. But the final decision is made on the road. Steady she goes. Keep your legs spinning. So I always carry more food than I think I will need so that when we hook up with those guys, if they're going hard and I feel like playing, I can play and have enough fuel to do our intended duration and not have to shorten our ride. We get a bit of a reprieve here. We're headed east. The wind is not as stiff from the east as it is from the south, I believe. And with this up and down terrain, gravity helps push you along. But when the road does go up, you have to pay attention to your gearing. I stand out of the saddle here just to change the way my muscles have been working and walk the bike. Check for traffic, and it's clear. This is how you would ride a mountain pass. Keep your cadence comfortable, push a little bit but not too much. Get a good rhythm and just work it. That's what I enjoy about the wind. You can train your body to work for long periods of time against resistance. That's what prepares you for time trialing, climbing, so forth. Road starts to go up here, I start to push. Make my legs work, let my cadence drop in the same gear. But still staying smooth. So I'm spinning a large gear at a low cadence. Because spinning does not only refer to very high cadence, it's the motion. Cycling motion. See me pulling back, kicking over.
Yeah. He's not paying attention.
Somebody built the road just for him.
We're talking about a driver that just went by a little while ago. He was drifting to our side of the road. I had to point him back to his side of the road. It's amazing the car's going forward and not paying attention. Take the speed the terrain gives you, but focus more on the effort in the zone that you want to be in. Thank our sponsors, thank our supporters, all our channel members and patrons. Consider becoming a member of the channel on YouTube. Take advantage of all the perks that we offer our members, including our members only premiere of our Veloharmony films every Tuesday, where you get to chat with other members and Paul and myself live. The wind is a little more subdued here. It's blowing from in front and to the right as we head east. I like to use the drops in the wind because you have more control and it just feels like a very powerful position. Gives you a lot more stability. So Paul was adjusting the camera's angle, making the lens more horizontal, so he can go in the drops and film while in the drops. I'm standing so I can keep that gear rolling. I don't have to downshift. So as the wind pounds me from the left and not so much from the front, I stay in the drops, then I go to the tops as we wind down our ride back towards town, because when we hit Onya Egypt Road, we're going to be going directly into the wind. So you have to pace yourself accordingly. I hope you all got a chance to get some kids in this weekend. This is part of what we did on Saturday. So get out there, keep moving, keep your body fit, and keep those doctors fired.